Welcome to the Reality Capture Network, where we focus on technology-driven innovation, education, and community. The Reality Capture Network, bringing the future to you.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Reality Capture Network podcast. Today, we are doing something a little different. We're going to do another internal episode, which we actually decided recently that we're going to start doing every once in a while, whether I sit down here with Phil and we're talking, or maybe I do a solo episode talking about just some thoughts around technologies. And today we landed on a topic we want to talk about and share with you guys in the community. And today the topic is around passion and enthusiasm and how it plays a role in your ability to create a successful career path or really any area of your life. And the reason we picked that to talk about is just we've talked with so many people. We've seen other entrepreneurs and successful business owners. We've talked with Olympic athletes and people who have scaled and sold, $500 million business. And I think that passion and enthusiasm is something that we see correlating between all of them. Anybody who's done something extraordinary in an area of their life, you have to have a certain level of excitement and passion toward whatever it is that you're going to work on.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, do you feel like you had a choice in the matter of what you're passionate about, or was it just there?
Yeah, I think you have a choice. I think different people get excited about different things, maybe based on how they operate, things they enjoy. Mm-hmm. But I love talking about my journey getting started in this industry because back when I got into land surveying when I was younger, I was not excited about it. I was not passionate about traditional survey work as a teenager, coming out of high school. It was a job. I was riding in a field crew. I was doing hot labor work, pounding nails and stakes, and I knew that it could be a career path. But at that age and in that entry-level role, it was not something that I was super excited about. Like, I just did it because it was a job. When the technology piece came around and we started learning about laser scanning, and it was this new technology, it was very visual. At the time I was younger, I was into gaming and there was like 3D environments. And so you start seeing this mapping technology bring a new level of innovation and interest into the built environment profession of surveying and geospatial technologies. That was what kind of got me excited. Before that, I didn't want to go to work. I wanted to do the minimum. The technology is what kind of lit the fire of like something I liked to do. But I think that is the key. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's excited about technology.
Right.
Not everybody's excited about laser scanning or passionate about drones, or some people are passionate about research and writing. And some people are passionate about going out and doing manual labor. And some people get passionate about the technology piece or something new that's never been done before. I think the way to become successful at whatever it is you want to do, it's enjoying it. Like, you have to like and genuinely want to do the thing that you're doing. And we've talked with, again, multiple successful business owners that scaled, grew, sold, huge. Everybody has said the same thing. If I did not truly enjoy or believe in what I was building, I would have quit, within the first year.
Right. How do you cultivate that passion? How do you keep focused on that? What do you have any routine to it, or is it just intrinsic?
I don't think I really have a routine. I feel like once I got excited about the technology in our industry, I feel like it's literally been like a forest fire since then. Like, that was the spark of something new and exciting, and that started just spreading. and I started realizing all of the different technologies that were out there that I didn't hear anybody talking about. I started seeing applications to how they were used in different industries, and I feel like that genuinely just got me excited about the technologies and about what could be done with them, that I've not had to like try to inspire myself to be excited. I love the tools. I see it solving problems. And that then mixed with, trying new things, like starting a business for the first time, trying new projects I'd never worked on before, starting a podcast, starting a conference. I feel like it's just created this energy that's like I'm just genuinely passionate about.
Okay, so on that note, on the passion piece, in talking about how it can be applied in so many different ways, can you kind of expand upon that? What are some of the things that you see that you, if you could pause time, you would just go into each one of these things because it is so exciting, but you're talking about this forest fire of energy. What are some of those things that you see that excite you?
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the different applications that we've seen the technology be able to be used in, I mean, there's typical construction jobs that, we just see it solving major issues that were not possible before, right? There's old drawings of every building and every type of project. It solves a big problem there. But then there's other unique use cases, like I've worked on projects in forensics where, it is documenting crime scenes in ways that were never possible before. When we think about the future of digital twins, and there's like a whole vision there of what the industrial metaverse or the metaverse could be. I think there's a lot that can happen with immersive environments and simulations and things for education. That's another big one. Man, there's a lot.
yeah, there are.
And I feel like there's so many that it's even hard. Like we don't deep dive into just one. We try to focus on all the different tools and raising awareness to them, and then we get to watch other people who are experts in a certain lane dive really deep with them.
Right.
So it's kind of a cool. It's hard. You can't be somebody who dives into all of them because they're so unique. The processes, the hardware, the capture process, the deliverable creation, the specialty and the different softwares that have to be used for just forensics or just accident reconstruction or, active construction or oil and gas facilities or entertainment projects. Like there are so many lanes and there are so many complexities and specialties that have to be done to make them all work properly. It's really fun to watch other people take them and run.
Well, absolutely. And that's my point, is that for someone in your role that sees all of that, you need to have excitement for all of it. And I think sometimes people find themselves in a position like that, and at first they don't have the awareness of knowing, like, well, if you have that much passion for all of those things, you won't be able to do it all. Yeah. But you can talk with every single specialist in that, and that's your role. It's like sharing that connection, because those people, they may, specialize in that, but not have a lot of people to have a conversation with about that specific thing, because other people don't see it eye to eye. Maybe they're in something that's similar, but they don't share that passion. But I think that's what's a cool thing about you, is seeing all of it and being excited about all of it. Yeah,
and I think we're trying to also maybe shift and fill a gap where there's not a lot of people educating and raising awareness to all the technologies, all the use case, all the complexities, building relationships with people around the world and around the industry to help put together teams to solve big projects. So, though I spent my first 10 years like deep diving into actual technical, like I'm traveling and scanning, and I'm registering data and figuring out how to integrate survey control to keep things accurate and convert files. And as I got super deep into the technical, and I still help people with that, But I've shifted my focus now to say, instead of me just becoming an expert in doing it, I want to now raise awareness to all of the opportunities in the industry, what the technologies can do, how they can be used in different industries, and now just empower other people to get started and help them overcome the headaches that we hit over the years getting going. And so I'm starting to back off myself from being the expert and now start empowering other people to become that role.
Yeah. I'd like you to touch on the importance of being courageous enough to express your passion. Because oftentimes people, they have the passion for the thing, but they almost feel shy about expressing that, because when we become passionate about a specific focus, not everyone shares that. And so it's not always easy to express yourself. So if you can kind of speak on that a little bit.
Yeah. I'll say I have never really been naturally good at that. Like, a lot of people see me now with a podcast and conversations and recording content, putting it online, having our own conference that I'm standing on stage. Mm-hmm. But still today, and I tell people this too, I'm still like shy. I'm not super outgoing. If I go to a conference, I'm actually going to one tomorrow. I won't say the name because of time frames and everything, but I'm going to a conference tomorrow that I don't know a lot of people there, and they don't know me very well. Mm-hmm. In those types of scenarios, I am shy. You'll find me standing against the wall, leaning there, not walking up to people, not talking to people. I have a hard time with that. I still have to battle that. Why I do it now and why I'm getting better at it is because I've started to realize when you're feeling shy or you're feeling like you don't want to share, you're the one judging how you sound, or do you have enough knowledge to talk about that thing? And over the years, I started having a lot of people ask for advice from me and, ask me to help with projects. And I started realizing that I've become an expert in reality capture. Mm-hmm. And when I started realizing I have that technical ability, then I was like, well, okay, I see all these other people on social media using it for, sharing education content, and they have a podcast where they talk with people, and finally making that decision that I think it's important to use the knowledge I've built over the years of how could a podcast be used, how can a conference be used, how can building a community be used. I feel like I've gained all that knowledge, and now I feel like it's my responsibility to use it to better our industry, because a lot of people in our industry, in the construction world, in architecture, engineering, construction, surveying, don't follow a bunch of podcasters, and they don't see some of that use case. Mm-hmm. I feel like once you've gained the knowledge of how a tool could be used, you're now responsible for seeing it through.
Oh, that's a really cool way of looking at it.
Like, if I know that doing this podcast can help our industry and I decide to not do it because it takes a lot of work, I feel like I'm letting myself down and I'm letting our industry down. You have that knowledge. You know how to do it. You have the use. You have the means to do it. Mm-hmm. Do it.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. I like looking at it that way too.
Might have gone down a rabbit hole there.
No. It's a good rabbit hole, and I think about that oftentimes. I think I've been around a lot of examples of people that are very knowledgeable of things, but then there is a discomfort with getting on social media and getting in front of of an audience that you don't know how they're going to react. And it brings up kind of something that we've talked about people that won't like you. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that?
I personally love it. And part of it I've learned from watching other successful people mm-hmm. who have a big following, that they say that, if you don't have haters, then you're not doing enough. Like, as soon as you start sharing a lot, you're posting a lot, you're getting attention, people are enjoying what you're building, you're gonna have people that have their own insecurities, that have their own problems. They've tried to do something and it didn't get successful. There are people that have their own struggles that they like to then make comments toward other people about, finding something to nitpick and say, you're posting way too much on LinkedIn, or you're just doing this to get attention, or, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am not building a podcast and sharing social content and building a conference just for getting more business. Like, what we're building for this community genuinely started out of a desire to help people learn how to do scanning and learn how to do drone work and learn about the applications, and then consult with them and help them learn how to do it accurately. It started because of seeing a lot of problems and saying, hey, this is a way for us to try to help people solve that. Now, it's going really well. It's growing. It's getting attention. And of course, we're going to shift and try to figure out, okay, what is most needed by the community and what is working? And sure, can we build it successfully without monetizing it somehow and growing? No, we have to. That's part of business. But when you have that goal and the reason you're trying to reach it, then you have to just stop caring about what other people think or what other people say. I've had a lot of people, even people close to me when I first started in business, that are like, you're crazy. Like, you should not quit your job. You're, and same with the podcast. I had people that are like, why are you going to start a podcast? Like, how is that going to help your business? People will always question you, especially if they don't understand why you're doing it. And again, we go back to another quote from, Matt Higgins we interviewed, where he says, you can't outsource your intuition. Mm-hmm. Nobody has the mix of your background, your expertise, your life knowledge, the things you've been through, the things you've seen. So for me, nobody has seen the amount of scanning projects and diversity of projects that I've seen. Nobody has watched all the successful podcast and conference growth that I've seen. Nobody has the exact mix of my background and experience. So for me to try to listen to their feedback about why I want to build and put these things together, nobody can fully understand it.
Right. Yeah. I think trying to explain your vision, if you're trying to convince a ton of people, you're just going to be wasting energy.
Yeah.
When you already see it, you just go after it.
And I lean more toward you're going to get people that fully buy in and see the vision and want to be a part of it, and you're going to get other people who are hesitant, I just don't waste my time on people that are negative or don't believe or just want to comment bad stuff. Like, okay, don't follow me, block me, remove me, please. I'm going to spend my energy on the people who it's actually helping and raising the awareness to the people that don't even know it exists yet.
Right.
I take zero effect toward people who don't like me or think that we're doing something weird, or I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all.
That's good. That's the way you need to be when you're going after that.
And some people might get angry at it or, comment back weird or whatever. I genuinely am like, just still nice to them and invite them to be a part of it and, try to help. Because, I've definitely had people like that in our industry where I got started owning a scanning company, right? We own a Nexus 3D Consulting. It is a survey, laser scanning, BIM company. A lot of people think RCN is created just to build awareness to that and give me business. And so I've had comments about that of like, yeah, well, you're just doing it for this. And, I don't, you almost never hear from a podcast, from the conference, anywhere. You almost never hear me even mention that I have a services company. People know it, but it is not at all the same vision, right? Services is where I got started. Personally, I'm now focused on empowering other people to do that. And there will be people who don't believe you. that think you have some other, intent. And you can't change their mind. You just keep going.
It reminds me of the conversation with Dane Cook when we talked with him. And you can tell, like, that guy's been in the pressure cooker. A lot of these people that we've talked with, they've been in extreme environments. And for him going through that, as long as he knew his why, he's like, I know I'm going to be judged.
Yep.
And he's like, and it happens over and over again. You see comments or whatever. You have to let that go. And you have to know deep in your heart, this is why I'm doing it. So they can say whatever they want to say. But this is part of the game.
Yeah. But to go back to kind of what we said the topic was about passion, becoming passionate about your work and being enthusiastic and getting excited. I literally think that can transform your entire life, your career, wherever you apply that. If you're, and again, that goes outside of work even, your marriage, your life, your kids, your business, whatever it is. A lot of people are giving 60% of their effort in every level. In every level. There are, I would say, I don't know, I'd have to do some research to come up with a real statistic, but I'm just going to say a random number. 80% of people are not excited about what they're doing at work. They hate getting up on Monday morning. They roll in and they just plug in to check their email and they just start doing their task and they don't enjoy it. When you find people that actually love what they do for work, they're excited, they're happy, they're healthy, stress levels they're not there, and those people have a greater opportunity to climb the ladder at the business they work in, or somebody that might start their own business. Like, you can do more and be more successful, whether financially or healthy or happy, just by becoming passionate about what you're doing. And for people that are in jobs that they don't like, find a way to get out. Yeah. Like, maybe you have to do it for the short term, but find a plan to find a way to do a job that you can enjoy.
Yeah, and I would say on that note, because I've been that person, and I've gotten those comments from my outside environment and came to that realization. I'm like, I'm not happy here. I would say just straight up quitting is not a solution, because then you could find yourself in that habit. And I would say in that situation, finding the way out where you do the best you can and you accelerate out instead of like, I'm going to leave you high and dry and just bounce. Yeah. Because that's going to set something else up. You have to know that you did the best you could in that environment, and now you're moving on and up.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely, I'll say on top of what I said, I did say, if you're doing a job you don't like leave and go find something else. There's also a lot of people that, again, are going to always try to nitpick and find something they don't like about their job. Right. Like, that isn't saying it's an excuse to just keep quitting your job and going and finding another company because it's always going to be greener on the other side. Like, at some point, when you find a business that you like, that you're aligned with their mission and vision, you like the people you work with, it is a role, it is something you enjoy doing, then stick there and become passionate and apply yourself and grow in that company. Right. I mean, there's so many people that do, as soon as they don't like something, they want to quit. And you look at a lot of resumes nowadays, you look at and it's like 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. Like, people just don't stay at a job because they always want to be just completely happy. Like, that's the opposite end. But I more mean just like, if you can find a type of job, not jump through 5 companies till you find the beautiful, perfect fit. Like, if you're not in a type of role that you enjoy, find a way to shift into one. And I'd even say at current employers, like, if you're working at a big engineering company doing a certain type of work that you don't enjoy, but you see this other technology division, or you see this geomatics division, or you, like, a lot of companies would be very supportive if you go to them and say, hey, this is something I really want to get into. I love the company, but I really want to get into this. Most companies would say, we'll figure out a way to make that happen.
Right.
Like, you don't have to not talk. I think communication is a huge part of that. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're at a company and you want to do something, or you have an area of interest, you have to communicate that to the business as well, or else they can't read your mind. Like, do you like what you're doing or not? Some companies will ask, they will do reviews, and they'll try to dig into that. But I think people should also be, communicating that to the company they work for.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think also a key into anybody that is feeling that kind of emotion is pay attention to the things that you naturally gravitate toward. If you're in a role where you're like, there is like role or job, or you're like, I am so far out of my enjoyment in life, pay attention to the things that you're doing outside of work. Because, for instance, you were talking about, you were gaming, you're into these 3D environments, and then all of a sudden, once you saw that alignment, then you were like, that's definitely the way. And for me, it was storytelling, it was video, and just everything there. And I'm like, oh, I've been into this my entire life. I can't stop talking about it. And the more I looked back, I'm like, oh, that's exactly the way I want to go.
Yeah.
So then it was a hard shift of like, okay, I need to get out of this environment and get into that environment. And that seemed insurmountable at the time. But year after year, step after step, I finally got into a position where it was like, all right, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're in an environment that feels aligned with what was in my head 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy in certain situations, but it is extremely possible if you have the right mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some of the challenges?
Some of the challenges of being passionate and excited is, I think sometimes I get excited about too many things at the same time.
Guilty as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a balance of like, I guess that's also just the entrepreneurial side of like starting things, and you get excited about starting something new. So when you get an idea of like, I want to start this now, you want to go all in on that, but you only have so much time in the day. And so you have to balance and allot your time where it should be. But I think it just comes down to like the main thing I'm trying to get across is just people applying themselves. And if you're kind of passionate about what you do, like find a way to become more passionate about it. Mm-hmm. I look back at my transition from a survey technician that was not excited to the mindset and attitude I started having when I got excited about my work. And that's what shifted to like, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to research and see how I could get better at my job. Mm-hmm. And so it started accelerating me and my knowledge as an employee of another company. Mm-hmm. That got noticed. Like I started growing in my career because I found something that I could get excited about. One, everybody has to work, right?
Yep.
You have to have a job. If you're going to have a job, try to find one that is around something you like to do. And if you have this job that maybe you don't absolutely love, find a way to love it. Becoming excited about what you're doing is, again, I just look back and I'm like, that just getting excited about it and applying yourself more, that's what completely transformed my career. And it's maybe hard to do at times. Mm-hmm. But I can't imagine being stuck in a job that you hate. And so many people do it. But I just feel like there's so many opportunities out there, even if you don't see them. Like if you love doing video editing and film and you maybe there's not a job posting up that's exactly the fit for you.
Right.
Well, you could develop a plan. You could develop a skill set and say, hey, I've seen how podcasting and videos for this business over here work. Here's a business who doesn't have it yet. Like, go approach them and find a way to fit a role that you want to do into a company.
Yeah.
I think even that, like, you can start to have kind of some of that entrepreneurial mindset, even if it's not starting your own business. Like, we didn't have a podcast when you started here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was because you had a certain skill set, I had a certain vision, and then it's the communication and the being open to something new.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what then starts to create something special. Like, when you're using different skill sets, different visions, different backgrounds, then you can do something that you're excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it kind of goes back to just being vocal and excited about, well, yeah, a lot of the things that I was telling you weren't even on my resume, where I was just like, oh, well, I've done this and I've dabbled in that. And you're like, you saw that I was genuinely interested in all those things, and you had already had the vision for doing that here. Maybe we can do something with that. And that was so cool. I was like, I couldn't believe it, when that came around. But I don't think that that's a rare story. I think when people do honestly express themselves in that way, they'd be shocked at how quick it comes back when they really decide to be vocal and to express themselves and their genuine interests and passions. Yeah. Other people that share that same passion will be like, come on. Yeah. Get over here.
And that's why I say, be open and communicate. Whatever, if you're at a company you enjoy working at, mm-hmm. and you have a certain interest or skill set or whatever, talk about it. Be vocal about it. Yeah. Share your interests, because a lot of businesses, in our case, myself, being visionary, being excited about growing a bit, like, I want to hear about different skill sets people have and different interests people have, and I want to figure out how can we be a better company by using the people that we have in the ways that they're special, not just, hey, this is your role, sit down and edit this all day, right? Yeah. Like, the best thing you can do, and you hear it from successful people all the time, my goal is to surround myself with people that are better than me in every area, and then empower them to be able to help build and do something new.
And that's also another point. You need to find someone that is genuine about growing other people. Yeah. Because if you find yourself in an environment where you're like, they simply don't care, then it is time to get out.
Yeah. So. And that is, I'd say there's a lot of those. Yeah. Like, oh, yeah. As much as I don't encourage people to just like go quit your job if you don't like it. Like, okay, what is it you don't like? Mm-hmm. Are they really not supportive? Are you the one complaining? Like, you have to really evaluate yourself and mm-hmm. why you're saying you don't like working somewhere specifically. But there absolutely are companies that they don't want to be innovative. They don't want to bring in new ideas. You're just a number. Like, those exist. Yeah. And if you get to the point that's not where you want to be, then find a company. And a lot of times it is smaller businesses. A lot of times you'll find a, 10, 30, 50, 100 person company. Those smaller businesses, which is honestly, again, the backbone of America is small business. Mm-hmm. Smaller businesses, you'll find that the leaders of those businesses are the ones that are open to growth and change and ideas. When you get into large companies, it's hard because they have very corporate structures. There's a huge chain of command of leadership and approvals and funding, and I feel like it's harder for big companies to be innovative and allow those roles. So if that is where you are and you truly are that person that's like passionate and wants to do something new, then I would encourage you to look at smaller companies, because that's usually why they exist in the first place, is that the owner or the founder or the whatever had a reason they wanted to start something. They are excited about growth, and so you bring them a new idea or something you like. I'd say a lot of them are going to be open to discussing. And sometimes it may not be a fit, right? Mm-hmm. there might be a company that's like, okay, we unfortunately like can't go branch off with this big idea you have, right? Or maybe it takes time and you have to be patient. But I think there's a lot of people who could do something amazing that sit quietly and never share it with anybody.
Yeah. Okay, now applying that directly to reality capture, and it seems as though there are tons of small companies that are doing fairly well. How does that apply? Like, what way do you go if you are excited about multiple things? What's kind of your checklist that you run through?
I feel like there are a lot of companies that are not really doing a lot with the technology yet. So the thing that I'm thinking first is like, there's a lot of architecture companies, engineering companies, survey companies that somebody in the firm has started seeing these technologies. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of genuinely interested in them, but the company hasn't implemented. And that's where I was when I started. And that's where I'm wanting to try to encourage people to say, go talk with your leaders. Like, if you're interested in becoming a reality capture professional, if you're interested in growing this into your company, like, someone has to be that voice and that champion within a business to say, I'll be the one to like research and I'll bring the ideas. And I think there's major opportunity for that. And there's a need for it too. I mean, the interest in the technologies is growing. There are not a lot of people you can go hire today that are experts in laser scanning and drones and reality capture and scan to BIM. And so somebody just getting interested in it and them being the one to kind of light that fire and now become passionate and now start learning and start suggesting and implementing. I think that's where I'm kind of thinking of as a starting point.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of directions to go. A lot of technologies. You do have to kind of pick, if there's a certain type of technology you want to dive into, or there's a certain industry that you're going down. But we've heard it from people that we've talked with that they were a lawyer.
Yeah.
And they quit. They quit their job there and are pursuing augmented reality. Or they were a teacher at a university and now they're a forensic data processor with point cloud. Like, people have made massive career changes because it's a very exciting and fun time in all these tools and technologies. Mm-hmm. And just as much as it's exciting and fun, there's a huge need for it, and it's saving people a ton of money. It's improving industries, so it's a very valuable skill set to learn too. So on both sides, it's like, don't be afraid. If you're excited about something or you want to try something, don't be afraid to just go try it, because it might completely change your career path and in turn change your life.
Yeah. It's exciting. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of potential for people to become passionate about all the things in reality capture that can check off in their life.
And I think, that's a big part of our goal with RCN too, is that, we're learning as we go. We're learning how to also talk and share and be open and film ourselves and, embarrass ourselves and trip on stage and whatever else.
Yeah.
And we're putting our foot forward in trying new things, putting on a conference, taking on risk in order to do something for the community. Like, we are on this journey with people, and we're building a community of people that are on the journey.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that I'm really excited about over the next few years is, as the RCN community is growing and our content is growing and our events are growing and we're providing education, is you're not having to do it by yourself. Yeah. Like, historically, if you're in a survey firm, you're in a construction firm, you're trying to dive into these technologies, you're kind of on an island. You're doing it by yourself. You're running into headaches. The goal of this community is you have other people you can reach out to. You have events you can come to and talk with people who are going through the same struggles. You can get on the podcast and share and like start to get visibility in the community. Really, as we move forward, my goal is to shift some of the things we do with RCN to fill some of those gaps and provide a community for people that are passionate about technology.
And you know what is really cool for me as I'm editing all this video is going through our conference and seeing time and time again people, and it's funny because I'm using it for hype commercials or whatever, but I'm looking at genuine, enthusiastic passion amongst strangers. I haven't talked with any of these people, and they're going like this, and their hands are like very expressive and a look of joy and excitement about what they're talking about. I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I know that it's something around this space. But seeing so many different people having that reaction, it's not just like one or two in the crowd, in a massive crowd of people.
Yeah.
So far, it's a smaller crowd, but everyone is like jazz, man. It's cool.
And that's what I think is really different about our conference and the events we're starting to put on is that we, because of what we're sharing and what we're talking about, we're putting ourselves out there, we're passionate about what we're doing, we are attracting those type of people. Mm-hmm. And so when you come to our conference, it's not like the one I'm about to go to where there's thousands of people and I'm kind of lost in a crowd and people that are all over the place doing different things and, none of them really relate to my technology. It's very different. When you come to our event, everybody there is coming because they're excited about new technologies in the industry, whether it's scanners or drones or VR. And so you do look back at videos from the event, you see they're excited. They're talking about different technologies. They're talking about how their business is using this, what struggles they're having. They're building genuine relationships that then they leave and they keep. And they just landed new people to work with or new clients or somebody got a new job or, somebody's working together. And I feel like a community like that is necessary for the growth that we're going to see in the industry over the next few years because collaboration is going to be absolutely necessary because there's so much work that needs to be done with scanning, with drones, with survey, with drafting, with modeling, with VR that there's no business that can handle it. We have to start pulling together and collaborating in order to handle the volume that we're going to see over the next several years. I'm excited about work.
And I'm glad you are because it's infectious.
And it's still challenging, to tell people to be passionate or excited about what they're doing also doesn't mean that no problems come around,
right?
That there's no stress, that work's difficult, especially as a startup or as an entrepreneur or a business owner or you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. You have a lot of expectations. You have a lot you have to deal with, but doing it around something you enjoy that's helping other people is another key to that being doable.
Yeah.
Again, like we've talked with other people on the podcast, they're like, man, if I didn't really like what I was doing, I would have quit. I'm in the same boat. I would have quit years ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And instead, I'm just still excited. I'm just want to do more. I just want to keep going.
I've had many conversations along my journey that have just reaffirmed my joy for what I do. And it's, you got to have that. You have to have that because that's going to get you through the hungry times. And then it's going to get you to the, oh, wait, how did I get here?
Yeah.
But you'll know why you got there.
Yeah.
You paid your dues.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, that being said, I hope those of you that do listen to this get more excited about the work you're doing. And if you're not, then find either a way to be excited about what you're doing or find something you can work on that will make you excited. Because, again, I think that will take people further down their career path and overall just make you happier.
On that specific note, let's pretend this is the first episode that someone just stumbles upon. List off some of the cool stuff in reality capture that they might want to explore or jump into.
Oh, man, yeah. If this is the first time and I had to throw out some technologies or things to look at, I mean, learning about laser scanning, it's very fascinating. It is technology that is completely mapping virtual sites, buildings, assets. It is creating 3D environments of whatever it is you scan in, and all kinds of industries need it. Movie sets, forensics, construction sites. It is fun work.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 13 years now, and I still love scanning something and then getting all that data together and looking at the point cloud, because it is creating a full digital replica of whatever it is you scanned. So looking into laser scanning, and you can start with something as simple as your iPhone. Your iPhone can start so you get a feel for what it does. Look up 3D scanning apps. There's multiple, and you can start with that just to get a feel for scanning something and having a digital copy. And then there's other, that's the first one I would say. Then there is drones, which is a little more difficult. You got to, get a drone or get your pilot license, but that's something you can also look into. Learning how to do 3D modeling from point clouds is a big need. There's a huge focus right now on immersive environments for different metaverse applications, digital twins, training. All of those technologies are a lot of fun. But the one we obviously have the biggest history in, that we're also trying to build most awareness around, is the different applications of scanning and different scanner types. So that's what I would look into. And of course, then reach out to us if you have questions, and we'll push you down the right direction.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for hanging out today. Look forward to another episode coming up next week.